What's up, Airsofters? Welcome back to the channel, where today we are at my local field, SOGO Airsoft, for some CQB gameplay. This was an impromptu game, as I came into it after work without even planning for it, and I mostly ran pistols this game due to struggling to get into the groove with my G&G SRL. Strangely, I did far better with the handguns than I did with the M4. Anyways, the game modes here are all team deathmatch, and quite honestly, this was a great refresher in CQB Airsoft, as it was not a large game, lots of new players, and the temps were perfect. This was also my first game back at the CQB field in several years, so you'll see I had a bit of a learning curve getting back into this type of gameplay, and my map knowledge wasn't great. For this gameplay, I'm mostly running an Elite Force 1911 as my primary, with a Novritch SSP18 as a secondary. The reason I asked him, despite him also being on my team, was because there was a lot of new players at the field who were sharing information about enemy locations with their teammates even though they were dead. This is a no-no, as dead men tell no tales, so please make sure to respawn before you share intel with your teammates. One of the biggest reasons I prefer running a handgun over a rifle in these close quarters games, just simply because of the size. You're able to maneuver these corners a lot quicker and have a lot tighter shots. Plus, most, if not all of these games are semi-auto only, meaning I don't need the automatic capabilities in an AEG anyways, so the semi-automatic capabilities of the handgun is all you need.
When you're hit, don't tell your teammates where the other guys are.
Remember that thing I just said a minute ago about dead men tell no tales?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, this kid passed me on our way into respawn telling me where some guys were, and he was still out. So the reason for my random apology here in the middle of a firefight was because I'd already hit the guy once or twice, and it was kind of overkill to shoot him again. It's highly encouraged to not just be dumping rounds into somebody and make them want to quit, but sometimes, heat of the moment, you get confused. Friendly fire is allowed in this game, so it was important to at least try and signal or communicate to each other so we don't get dropped by a fellow teammate. However, it'd be lying if I said it didn't happen at least a few times. So this happens a lot with the safety kill or bang bang rule. Some fields don't have this system and others don't enforce it. Basically, this field encourages its use so we aren't needlessly inflicting pain on the other guys, especially with new players on the field. However, it gets confusing sometimes, and this one was just an odd one. I wasn't sure if he heard me, and I don't think he was quite sure what I had said or did. Couple that with my gun not firing when he tried to walk away, and you have this sort of awkward scenario, and then my fixing of the gun ricocheted into my already dead teammate. What can I say? Getting back into the game has its rough spots. Sorry, guys. And here's another example of the confusion that can abound from the safety or bang-bang rule. Apparently, this guy came around the corner and supposedly safetied 3 people, which is kind of not feasible, and the other team was sort of confused why he did this and didn't call a hit. Again, this rule can be confusing. It just comes down to players being patient with one another and just being willing to either take a loss or, just accept that you may not get the kill. Speaking of the bang bang rule, here's another example right here about how confusing it can be, but kind of erring on the side of caution. I saw this guy out of my peripheral vision as I was walking away, and he did try to bang me, but I did not see it until I had already turned away. I decided to just take the loss and walk off.
Well, you missed me, but only there. Oh. That was a ricochet, yeah. He's right there.
Some grenades are allowed at certain fields. This guy actually had some sort of an impact grenade he planned to use. Field rules stipulate that anything inside of a 12-foot radius counts as a kill. Coming up right here is a wonderful example of new players not being sure what to do. They didn't know how to move up or how to use cover and were just kind of too scared to do anything. So I was trying to offer suggestions and kind of direct movement. Some seemed to be more receptive than others, and others seemed a little more hesitant.
And then you take his spot on the corner. Now give him cover to move to that bunker on the left.
The way I see it is we all started somewhere, and you're never going to learn how to play airsoft until you go try airsoft. That includes everything from moving up and using cover to learning how to take a hit. Biggest thing is don't be afraid to at least try, don't be afraid to push forward, and don't be afraid of getting hit by a BB.
You got one car in the building.
So right here, technically we traded. He hit me and I hit him, but I was more or less blind firing because I was just shooting blindly from the hip, and I felt bad, so I just gave him the kill and I walked it off. Yes, I could have shot him, but if that was you, would you want to have been shot that close?
Sorry, man, keep getting covered up. You got a guy that's right around this corner. Good hit, man, good hit.
Something I would highly encourage any new or experienced airsofter with is actually congratulating your fellow players on good shots. It's a great way to encourage someone else and remind everyone that this is still just a game we all want to have fun with. It is very important that before you head out onto the field, you are familiar with how your gun works, as well as make sure you are ready to start when the buzzer sounds. Unlike this idiot that forgot to rack the slide on his gun and couldn't figure out why it wasn't firing. Don't be this guy. Come on, dude. Fiddling with the gas valve isn't going to make it shoot. There it is. Circle gets a square. Carry on. Was he close enough for a safety kill? Probably. But as I had learned earlier in the game, safety kills were getting a little bit confusing, so I decided to err on the side of caution and just start taking one-tap shots when I'm inside that range, trying to aim for baggy areas of clothing when possible. And yet again, we have another example of how confusing Airsoft can get. I hit both as they crossed in front of me, but the first guy either didn't feel it, as I did only fire a single round, or he wasn't calling his hit. I wasn't going to argue or debate, as that's not my job, and rather than turn into a needless argument, I agreed to just take the safety and go back to respawn. This is the really cool respawn system this field has. It's these little black boxes that are scattered all around the map at different respawn points, and all you do is you slide your fingers into a groove on the bottom and push a panel on the back. The ring on the outside will light up a color multiple times until it turns into flashing lights, and then you're back in. This is the area I mentioned earlier. This is the courtyard. The courtyard is an area of gravel that connects both warehouses from the outside with a series of bunkers and barriers scattered in between. Unfortunately, I only made it to the courtyard a couple of times, and I only ever made it into warehouse 1, I think, twice. And unfortunately, one of those 2 times, my cameras were both dead. As you can see here, I'm employing the age-old akimbo technique. Guys, don't go akimbo. It may look cool and make you feel like John Wick, but you'll wind up getting distracted with an awkward reload, or you'll get hit because you're too busy trying to look like a badass.
Nice. Hit coming out.
One thing I really appreciate about this field is that while they do play music so that it's not just an awkward cacophony of BBs hitting walls the whole time, it's not overly loud to the point where you can't even hear yourself think, or much worse, hear your teammates. So here's a situation that we will all find ourselves in at least once. I know I hit him because he flinched from the shot, but kept moving and ducked behind cover. He turned and engaged me, and luckily I ended up getting him anyways. I'm not the guy to call someone out for being a cheater or to make a big deal out of it, and admittedly in the moment I didn't even connect the dots that it was the same player. But guys, call your hits, and if you see someone that doesn't, alert a ref, don't make a scene.
You're gonna move.
So Airsoft is a game based on mutual respect as well as an honor system. Part of that is identifying when you push too far and you need to back off for the sake of the game. Right here, you can see the yellow line on the ground indicating that I'm now in the enemy team's spawn point. I need to back off and give them room to spawn in, otherwise it's unfair and I'm camping their spawn point.
This is the last warning. If we catch whoever's doing burst, we're pulling you out by your earlobes, and you will not play anymore.
As you can hear over the intercom system, we had a player somewhere on the field who was running burst or auto, and multiple reports had made their way back to the refs. Most CQB fields, that's against the rules, including this one. This was probably the most awkward and, dare I say, most frustrating of the night. The Bang Bang safety kit rule requires that you are 1, close enough to the enemy player, and 2, already have your gun up and aimed at them as if you're about to fire. This guy walked right in my line of fire, so I should have had the kill, yet he kept walking and lowered his gun down and proceeded to safety kill me. I tried to explain that's not how it works, but he seemed like he wasn't going to take it, so we agreed on a trade and left it there. Ultimately, there's no point in arguing on the field over these situations, but I do hope these types of players learn so everyone can enjoy their time on the field moving forward. Anyways, that's it for today, guys. Thanks for watching, and be sure if you haven't already to hit that subscribe button. And if you did like the video, give it a like. I do appreciate it. It does help the channel out. I already have my next video in the works from the New Year's game at The Rock, so stay tuned for that. Until then, stay safe, have fun, and stay classy.